Okay, so I basically had the Osmo Action 5 now for about 2 weeks, and I thought I'd just make a quick video on what I've experienced in those 2 weeks, what I suggest for someone looking for an action camera or vlogging camera, and basically like how it's been to me for the past 2 weeks. First thing I'll say is the quality on the camera is actually pretty good. The last action camera I had was a while ago. It was the GoPro Hero, I want to say 9 or 10, the black version. And I hadn't purchased another action camera for a while because, I didn't really find I couldn't find any use for it. Like I had the GoPro Hero and it was just sitting there. I think I ended up giving it away pretty much. But once I got my mirrorless camera, like I didn't really see a use for it until recently. And when I started, doing research, and I kind of saw that it was one of the top cameras in terms of like the action camera category, and so I decided to purchase it. But yeah, as far as the quality, it's pretty good as long as you're not someone that just uses auto settings. Now, even if you still use auto settings, it is a very good action camera, I will say that. But they give you the ability to kind of like adjust settings and use log footage. So if I was you, or if I was someone that was buying a camera, like I would take advantage of that. I don't know if, oops, I don't know if everyone has the software, to be able to edit log footage, or I don't know if CapCut does it or other things do it, but if you're able to, I would take advantage of that because it really actually does help you in terms of like the quality in the picture. Like you can adjust so many things when you use log footage as opposed to using like, the stock footage that they give you, and it's still going to be good, but you can pull more out of it. Everyone has different settings. I'll tell you guys what my settings are for my footage. So I have log on, and you'll see in the camera, like if you have end up getting it, there's a little menu here where you could adjust the settings, the white balance, the exposure, and all that stuff. So I have mine set to, my exposure set to auto, but it's not completely auto. It's like a manual kind of auto. So I have mine set to, so you could have it set to manual, and it lets you set the shutter speed and the ISO. So what I ended up doing was, when you have it set to a certain shutter speed, you can kind of see, there's something here that says EV, and that has to do with light. They usually set it to a certain EV setting to let a maximum amount of light in, and my EV setting is usually between zero point 0.7 or negative 1.3, or sorry, negative 0.7 or negative 1.3. I found that works for me in terms of, having good lighting for your footage. Like I don't really shoot in the dark that much, but I do find that having it at that setting to where it can kind of like put that as the max, it kind of helps you not have to worry about it so much, and it adjusts the shutter speed according to what you set it to. And my ISO, I have it set to, I don't know if you guys can see it, I have it set to 100 to 800. So basically the max ISO, the camera will ever go to is 800. I feel like once you go to 32, I feel like with this camera, maybe 3200 is when the grains start really coming in. 1600 too, depending on how much, light you're in. But I'd rather keep it at 800 because, like I said, I don't really use it in the dark or in dark settings. It's mostly usually daylight, and so it usually never goes to 800. It might go up to like, I don't know, 400 or so, but it usually stays around like 100 or 200 with the ISO. And same with my EV settings, it kind of just adjusts. Like once you have it at -3, it kind of just adjusts the shutter speed to, whatever applies to that EV setting. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's on the top part here, and you'll see like the shutter speed changing a little bit. So yeah, I have that set to auto, but it's not really auto. The white balance, you can set that to auto white balance or manual. So if you know you're going to be in a spot where, you can set that to auto white balance or manual. So if you know you're going to be in a spot where, the lighting conditions aren't really going to change, then you can, obviously set your white balance to whatever. I think 5400 is for outside and 3500 is for inside in most cases. If you're, moving around a lot, then it's usually best for you to just set your white balance to auto because it can kind of adjust itself. What I usually tend to do is in post when I'm editing, I'll, you know, change the white balance again because I have the ability to using the log footage. So it never really stays the same. Like I kind of just fix it afterwards, so I just leave it on auto white balance. Log footage, I use that, so D-Log M10-bit. And I usually have color recovery on so that you can kind of see on the screen what things will look like once you set the log footage up. And then if you go to the last setting, which is image adjustments at the bottom, I have texture set at -2 and I have noise reduction set at -2. I feel like that's something most people have set these two settings to in terms of like, people that have the Osmo 5 and people that I've seen on YouTube. So yeah, like you don't want an overly sharp image, and noise reduction, it kind of like softens up your image too. So yeah, I have it set to those two settings, and I usually shoot on 4K 25 16:9, and I usually shoot it in the standard mode, not like the wide mode or the ultra wide mode. I usually just keep it standard. Reason is I found that having it in like the ultra wide mode kind of distorts it a little bit, or the wide mode, it kind of distorts it a little bit. And the field of view that you have with the standard mode is actually still pretty, wide. So I don't see any, and it looks better to me. So I don't see any reason to, use the wider modes when the standard for me, it looks better and there's no like major distortion. The camera has a super night setting, but like I said, I really don't shoot in the dark. But the times that I have used it in the dark, it's actually been, pretty good. I don't see a lot of people using the camera in the dark. I mean, unless you're in a well lit, like if it's nighttime and you're in a well lit area, yeah, it'll look nice. But if you're in the complete dark, it's like, hard to even see for yourself. Like, I don't know, I don't see why anyone would really use this camera just to go around. Another thing that I've noticed, and it's something that I kind of regret, but then again, I really don't. I bought the adventure combo. So it came with a bunch of accessories and it came with this. So if you guys don't know what this is, it's a battery charger and it comes with 2 extra batteries on top of the battery that you get. So you get 3 total batteries. I'll be honest with you, I've had this camera for 2 weeks now, and I've probably, I don't think I don't think I've changed the battery at all. Like it's, once I use it, because the battery life gives you about, I would say 2 hours of recording. I don't know what the official time is. Okay, so a single battery delivers up to 4 hours of use, and I think that depends on what kind of footage you're shooting. I'm usually shooting at 4K, so it may not last 4 hours, but it could, because I've never shot that long with it. So me having this, like, it hasn't really been, like, I really haven't used it at all, and I'm hoping that I, get into a situation where, like, it's better to have it than not, obviously, but you pay, I forget exactly how much it is, but about 180 or close to $200 extra to get the adventure combo, and it comes with that extra battery pack. It comes with a selfie stick and a few other accessories, but for some people that shoot like I do, it may not be worth it to have the extra battery, because once you get home and you're sending in your footage to your computer, it's charging the camera. So realistically, you know, are you ever going to use those extra batteries? And another thing too, with the internal recording, what I've realized is it kind of coincides kind of like with the battery, because like I said, it depends on what you're shooting. So if I'm shooting 4K 120, I have less recording time, and obviously I'm going to have less battery life too. So I haven't really found myself using the extra batteries as much as I would have hoped. But again, like I said, it's better to have it than not. Speaking of the internal recording, so that's the main reason why I ended up getting this camera, because of the ability for it to, I don't think there's any other cameras that have internal recording for action cameras, but the ability to record internally and have memory on the camera, it's a super game changer. I don't know why other action cameras haven't done it. I feel like The ones that are coming in the future will do it, but I literally haven't walked around with an SD card. And it's funny because the reason I ended up getting this camera was I have SD cards, but I just couldn't find them. Like I use a CF Express card for my mirrorless, but I couldn't find my SD card, and I didn't really feel like buying one. And so once I realized the price wasn't that far from the other action cameras, I said, let me just get this because it'll be convenient for me to walk around with a camera that I know I can just pull it out and record it and not say, oh shoot, I forgot my memory card. So that's been very, very convenient for me because I haven't had to walk around with it. And once I want to edit footage, I just plug it into my laptop and transfer the files over to Premiere Pro, and then I just do it that way. So I think that's probably the best feature on this camera is the internal memory. For a lot of people, like I said, you might forget you might leave the house and you might not take your whole, I don't know, camera bag with you. You might forget that memory card, and so with this camera, it's like you literally can just walk out the house with the camera on its own and not have to worry about anything else. The battery life is good, so it's gonna last you, again, like I said, depending on what you're shooting at. It'll last you a while, at least 2 hours with 4K footage. I think a little bit less if you're shooting 4K 120. But yeah, like internal recording, like it's something that all cameras should adopt. Even some mirrorless cameras, I hope in the future they adopt the same thing because yeah, to have the ability to just walk out and record and not have to worry about forgetting, because a lot of photographers, a lot of videographers, like they'll know what I mean when I say when you leave the house to go do a shoot and then you're like, shoot, I knew I forgot something, and you realize you forgot your memory card. And so having that internally in the camera is a game changer. And yeah, no, the last thing I would say is like the overall like feel of the camera. It feels professional. It feels sturdy. It feels good. There's accessories that you can get to attach to it. You can get an ND filter. You can get a field of a lens attachment that gives you like a wider field of view. I know a lot of cameras do that, but it has that as well. I haven't had many overheating issues. Like I've recorded 4K 24 probably like 50 minutes at a time, and I haven't really had any overheating issues. Like it's run the whole time straight through with no issues. Yeah, I can't really say like too many. I don't really see any negative. Like I can't say too much negatively about the camera. Again, quality is pretty good compared to other action cameras. Obviously, you don't expect to get the camera you would get from like a full frame or a mirrorless camera, but for what it offers and going up against the competition, like it's a really good camera to have. If you're like me where you're not going to use the action camera that much, I would suggest getting the regular package. If you have the money and you don't care about it, get the adventure combo. Like I said, it doesn't hurt to have the extra batteries. A lot of the things that come with the adventure combo, you can probably just buy it on Amazon separately. Like, you know, the selfie stick. I've seen second, or what do you call it? Yeah, I've seen third party charging kits and stuff like that. But if you just want the convenience to have everything, when you first purchase it, spend the extra $160-$180 and just get the adventure combo. The one thing I will say though that I do wish DJI had, and it's not even so much of a DJI thing. I'm not sure if this camera has capabilities to record with other Bluetooth mics. I'd have to look into it to see. But I know it does pair with a DJI mic. I don't have a DJI mic. I have my Rode mic, which I usually use to record the Wireless Pro, and it doesn't have Bluetooth. So I do wish there was another way to kind of like set that up, and even though the mic on this camera is actually good, I do wish there was another way that I could set my microphone up and then just attach it internally. But what I usually end up doing is just recording with the mic on its own, and then I just put the sound and the footage together afterwards. But yes, would I suggest this camera to someone in the market looking for an action camera, looking for a vlog camera, or just, something small? I would suggest it ahead of the other competition. I know the GoPro Hero 13 is out. There's another I forget what it is, but there's an Insta camera that's out as well. There's a DJI The Osmo Pocket is out. It's a little bit more expensive than this, and it's more centered towards vloggers. But you know, like when it comes to the action camera, you know, the competition for the action camera category, like I feel like this is probably the best action camera. And the reason it stands out for me, like I said, was the internal memory. So the other action cameras don't have that, so that's why I ended up purchasing it. But yeah, no, let me know what you guys think about this camera, man. I look forward to getting more footage with it and just enjoying it and seeing, you know, if I could find out any more features about it. DJI is pretty good with updates, so you know you don't have to worry about your camera being outdated anytime soon because they just had an update today. Like whenever things come up, I feel like they're pretty good with updates, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, if you guys have this camera, let me know what you think of it. If you guys are planning on getting a camera, if you have any questions regarding it, let me know as well. But I think it's a good way to go in terms of purchasing a camera. So let me know what you guys think in the comments.